What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. When it comes to the internet, content is king. That's why XXL is expanding and starting their own digital cover series. These are exclusive covers and interviews, stories, and all that won't be available on newsstands. You could only find them at XXL's website. And I think that's a smart decision. It's a little late in my opinion. Complex and Hot New Hip Hop, those are two sites that have been doing the digital cover thing for a while now. Even Complex always just puts their magazine covers online, like the whole story right as they announce it. So you get that, and you can get the hard cover as well if you want that. So I think for XXL, it's a great move. And the first person to join is French Montana. French has an album out August 19th titled MC4 Mac and Cheese 4. And the interview itself was really good. The article was well written, and I feel like I learned a lot about the upcoming album. In this day and age, artists don't do interviews too much prior to like the album's dropping, unless it's like someone that really needs it. But like French hasn't done too many interviews, so he hasn't talked a lot about the structure of the album or the concepts or who's featured, what all the inner workings of the album. So I read this piece, and one of the things that really stood out was French talking about how he wasn't ready to drop another album yet. In this day and age, you have to drop constantly. And French has kept his name in the streets, in the internet. He's put out several mixtapes. He's been working with damn near everybody from, Jay-Z to Miley Cyrus to, whoever really. And he's really just kept his name strong in the 4 years since Excuse My French. When you don't put out an album, an actual retail album for 4 years, people start to criticize you and think, he's fallen off. But in reality, French has only gotten bigger, in my opinion. He's like I was just mentioning, all of the stuff that he's done has made him a more in-demand artist. And I think if he had dropped MC4 back in like 2014 when he first planned it, or even 2015, he wouldn't have had what he has now. He has Lockjaw featuring Kodak Black, and he wouldn't have worked with Kodak 2014, 2015. It had to happen this year. And then Figure It Out, which is another big single from the upcoming album. And it's the first collaboration that we've seen from Kanye West and Nas. So French having those two on the record is history. And the video has over like 17 million views. So it may not be like a chart-topping single, but French has been building up that buzz pretty nicely. Something else that he said that caught my attention was how he compared MC4 to Avatar, the movie, which is the highest grossing film of all time. And what's crazy is French later said in the interview he could have just compared his album to Belly, but I like that he went the further step and came up with a better comparison, because something like that sticks out. Hearing his album compared to Avatar, like what? How does French Montana even relate to Avatar? But the actual comparison is pretty interesting. I'm going to read the quote. He says, "The same way that kid went into the jungle and any day could have been his last, he could have died." You know what I'm saying? So basically, a guy that went into the jungle and he didn't know nothing in the jungle. As soon as he went into the jungle, he couldn't go back, so he had to survive. And any day could have been his last in the jungle. I feel like it's not just me. I feel like it's everybody. I feel like everybody that comes from those kind of predicaments and the situations and that lifestyle that we come from in the streets, when you're trying to maneuver, you put yourself in that kind of danger every day when you're trying to make some money by any means necessary. I feel like you get in the middle of everything and you don't know if you're gonna make it dealing with these savages in the streets. Now, when you break it down like that, Avatar, the boy going into the jungle and having to survive, then it makes perfect sense. French came to America when he was 13. He didn't know English. He came from Morocco in Africa, and for him not to know English at 13, I didn't know that. So that alone was crazy. Like, when you hear him talk, you don't think English might be his second language. He definitely sounds like very fluent in English. But like I said, the comparison itself is fascinating because you strip it down to the bare bones of it all, and that's essentially what French's life has been. French had to, survive in New York. He dealt with getting shot in the head at an early age and being in the streets, all the savagery that comes from that, like he said in his quote. So that quote really caught my attention. And another thing that he revealed in the interview was that he has a record called Paid For that features Max B and Chinks. And he was breaking it down, like how important it was to have this record because those are the two people that really helped him, close friends. If anybody's been following French for like almost a decade now, he's been working with Max B for so long. If you've never heard Coke Wave, you need to. One of the best mixtapes, in my opinion, like maybe a top 30, top 40. It was so good. And you have that chemistry between the two, and now Max B's locked up, and Chinks, got shot last year. So French felt like he had to have this record just to honor the two people that really helped him, in his career and getting to this position so far. Once you read it, or just hearing what I was talking about in the video, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter @SermonsDomain. And as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching. And until next time, peace.